I love what the Steelers are doing since Mason Rudolph gets it. You don't get 9 lives in football, but it feels like this 2023 Steelers team has 9 lives. We called them for dead like 3 different times. They changed quarterbacks 3 different times.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are actually unbelievable. Even with still only having a slim chance to make the playoffs, the fact that they are in the position they are in after everything that has gone on this season is pretty crazy, and Mike Tomlin deserves some credit. And I gotta call some of you Steelers fans out because I've heard so many times from so many of you that he should be fired. And I do understand that you guys are tired of mediocrity, but 17 straight winning seasons. Just think about that. 17. That will never be done again. And there are so many franchises that are desperate to just have a run of a few good seasons in a row, and they have done it for decades. And there's just something about this team that I always talk about where things just go their way. Teams will fold for them, weird things will happen. Like, you watch. I saw they only have a 29% chance to make the postseason right now, but whatever things outside of their control they need to happen will happen. Anyways, before I get into this video, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 20k subscribers, and your support truly means the world. Alright. So as most of you probably know, the Steelers just beat the Seattle Seahawks 30-23 on the road in a must-win game. And really, they were pretty much in control from the jump. Mason Rudolph had another solid game with 274 yards and no interceptions. And honestly, with how he's been playing, it's going to be tough to go back to Kenny Pickett. But Big Ben said that he thinks they will. Anyways, recapping the win, Jaylen Warren started things off scoring-wise with an 18-yard rush to the left into the end zone to make it 7-0. The Seahawks then responded with a rushing touchdown of their own by Kenneth Walker. Chris Boswell then knocked in the 39-yard field goal, and Seattle took the lead back quickly after that with a Jackson Smith-Njigba touchdown. But right before halftime, Pittsburgh punched one in with Najee Harris to take a 17-14 lead into the locker room. Starting off the third quarter, Jason Myers nailed a 43-yarder to tie things up at 17, and then Najee Harris scored another touchdown to make it 24-17. Moving on to the fourth quarter, Myers hit a 42-yarder to make it 24-20, then Boswell made 2 straight field goals to basically put away the game at 30-20, and the final was of course 30-23. This was just a huge win on the road for Pittsburgh, and as much as they have struggled in certain aspects of the game all year, really everything is starting to come together at the right time. The main thing that really stood out to me from this game is Pittsburgh's rushing ability, because it was a big struggle at first under Matt Canada's offense, but now everything just seems so free-flowing, and Najee Harris rushed for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Jaylen Warren had 75 yards and a touchdown. So they really wore down Seattle all game long. Also, in the receiving game, the Steelers were not too shabby as well. George Pickens had 131 yards off 7 receptions, and Deontay Johnson had 76 off 4. Rudolph really was spraying the ball all over the field, and like I said, the entire offense is starting to peak at the right time. Alright. Now I want to move on and talk about some of the scenarios that the Steelers need to happen in Week 18 to make the playoffs. First and foremost, they obviously have to win against the Ravens, and I think they should easily be able to do that with the fact that this game means absolutely nothing for Baltimore outside of staying in a rhythm. And Tomlin will have the guys ready and locked in, so I mean, they're gonna win. And with a win, that would put them at 10-7. And all they would need to happen is for the Dolphins to beat the Bills or for the Titans to beat the Jags. And even though both those teams are underdogs, it's 2 chances, and it's probably gonna happen. They also can make the playoffs in another scenario where they win, the Bills win, and the Jags win, and the Colts and Texans tie. But I think we can pretty much rule that one out. That would be like hitting $1 million parlay. Anyways, getting back to the football part of things, now I want to talk about the defense, because that of course is the side of the field that Pittsburgh has and will always pride themselves in. While they didn't have like the best game against Seattle, they have been so good all year, and Eric Rowe led the team in tackles for the game with 9, and TJ Watt also is always a big factor even when he doesn't put up numbers, and he's one of those guys along with Myles Garrett that is held on most plays of the game, and it's ridiculous that it doesn't get called. Whatever cards you are dealt, you deal with it, defensive captain Cameron Hayward said. To have a chance this late in the season to get in the playoffs is all you're hoping for. Those hopes bordered on being non-existent until Rudolph was handed control of the offense 2 weeks ago, 1 week after helping the Steelers snap a 3-game skid by leading the offense to a season-high 34 points against Cincinnati. And he of course nearly matched it during the Steelers' first victory in Seattle since 1983. Also, before I end off this video, one area of this Pittsburgh team that has always been improving since the beginning of last year is the offensive line, and they are part of the reason why the running backs have been having so much success as of late. I thought the offensive line provided the wave that we rode, Tomlin said. We talked all week about trying to conquer the environment and winning the line of scrimmage being a major component of it. And getting back to Mason Rudolph one last time, he was not only dominant all game, he was also clutch, and made a throw with 2 minutes left after Deontay Johnson recovered an onside kick. Seattle, which had just pulled within 7 points on a field goal, had 2 timeouts remaining. Rudolph found Pickens on a slant that gained 20 yards and led to the Steelers running out the clock. I think a lot of coaches and a lot of play callers want to be conservative there and just run it out, but we've got a very aggressive head coach, Rudolph said. I think he made the call and it paid off. Anyways, I just year after year have seen this Pittsburgh team find ways to get the job done, and I will admit, as a Browns fan, it's pretty frustrating, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if things work out and they get in this year. And like I said, with the way Mason Rudolph has been playing, I think you have to give him the start. And if the offense can continue to put up this production alongside the defense they have, then this team could be a surprise for many people, and they will be able to hang with literally anyone. And if you remember earlier in the year, they already beat the Ravens, and that was with the Matt Canada offense, so it's not like things are out of reach. So I can't wait to see what happens. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point in the video, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly means the world. And also, with the NFL season starting to wrap up, there is just so much to talk about right now, so let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.